Level 3. Robinson Crusoe. Copyright 2009 Compass Publishing. All rights reserved. Chapter 1. My Bad Luck Begins. My name is Robinson Crusoe, and I was born in 1632 in the city of York. My father was a successful businessman. I had 2 older brothers. One of them was in the army and was killed in the war with Spain. My other brother disappeared one day, and we never knew what happened to him. My father gave me a good education and wanted me to be a lawyer. I didn't want to be a lawyer. I wanted to be a sailor and go to sea. My father was very angry with me. He asked me why I wanted to leave his house, where I would have an easy and comfortable life. "Two kinds of people go to sea," he said. "There are the very poor people and the very rich people. The very poor people are ignorant and foolish, and have no other way to live. The very rich people own the ships and make a lot of money with them. You are not foolish, and you are not very rich. You are in the middle, and you should choose a middle way for your life. Most of the bad things in the world happen to the very rich or the very poor. You are lucky to be in the middle. It is safer and easier. Stay home with your mother and me. Your older brother would not listen to me, and now he is dead. If you do not listen to me, you will have a difficult life." I tried to do what he wanted, but I couldn't. I spoke to my mother. "Please ask father if he will let me have one voyage on the sea." I asked her. "When I return, I will live the life he wants me to live." She was very angry. "Don't be a fool. Your father will not let you. How can you even think about it after he spoke to you?" "I agree with him. I do not want you to go to sea. It is too dangerous." I argued with my parents for another year. Then I went to Hull with a friend who was going to London on a ship. He invited me to go with him, and I agreed. I did not ask my parents. I did not even tell them. I just went. That was how all my bad luck began. As soon as the ship set sail, the wind began to blow, and soon we were in a storm. It was my first day at sea, and I was very frightened. I was certain that I would die. I remembered what my father and mother had said. I decided that if I got back safely onto dry land, I would go home to my father and never go on a ship again. The next day the storm was gone. The sea was calm. On the 3rd day, there was almost no wind, and the sun shone on the water. I had never seen anything so beautiful. My friend talked to me about the storm, and that night we drank a lot of punch. I was drunk and soon forgot all about my promise to go home. I even laughed at myself for being frightened on my first day at sea. On the 6th day, the wind was not strong, but it blew the wrong way, so the ship made little progress. We had to wait at Yarmouth for the wind to change direction. A lot of other ships were waiting there too. While we waited, there was another storm. This storm was much worse than the first, and the sailors began to show fear. Even the captain was frightened. One of the other ships sank. I cannot describe how frightened I was. We had a good ship and good sailors, but the waves were so high that water came into the ship. We had to work very hard on the pumps to stop the ship from sinking, but we did not succeed. At last, another ship sent a small boat to help us, and we got on it. 15 minutes later, we saw our ship sink. It took many hours of rowing to bring the boat to the shore. Then we walked to Yarmouth. The people of Yarmouth gave us enough money to go home. I should have gone home. My father would have been happy. I would have lived an easy and happy life. My friend's father was the captain of the ship. He warned me not to go to sea. "This happened on your first voyage," he said. "It is a sign that you should not go to sea. Your father is right. You should stay home." I used my money to go to London. I did not want to go home. I had failed. I was certain that everybody would laugh at me. After a while, I forgot how frightening the storm was, and I began to look for a new voyage. I wanted to see the world, I met a captain who invited me to go with him on a voyage to Africa. I got some money from my relatives and went with him. This was the only successful voyage I ever made. I was often sick during the voyage, but I learned how to navigate and be a sailor. The captain was an honest man and helped me to buy things in Africa that I could trade. When we returned to England, I sold them and made a good profit. I was very pleased and decided to go on another voyage as soon as I could. I was a successful trader. I left half the money I had with a friend and took the other half with me. This time, however, my usual bad luck returned.